Live from this news center of the Sultanate of Oman television here, we present to you tonight's news bulletin. But first, the headlines. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq sends a cabal of greetings to His Excellency the President of Iceland on his National Day. Signed by His Majesty the Sultan, Her Excellency, the Minister of Higher Education, Research and Innovation participates in the second Islamic Summit for Science and Technology. The Ministry of Health reports 26 deaths and 2,142 new cases of COVID-19, and the immunization campaign continues in the governorates of the Sultanate. And with the aim to support and develop Omani talents, and Regional Training Center for Information Technology and Communication is inaugurated. Good evening once again, and thank you for joining us. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq sends a cabal of greetings to His Excellency Dr. Gudni Johannesson, President of Iceland, on his country's National Day. Assigned by His Majesty the Sultan, Her Excellency Dr. Rahma bint Ibrahim Al-Mahruqiyah, Minister of Higher Education, Research and Innovation, chaired virtually the Sultanate's delegation at the second Islamic Summit for Science and Technology. Hosting of this summit is stemmed from the commitment of the leaders of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation to pay attention to the fields of science and technology and to prioritize the efforts of sustainability within the member countries. The Minister of Higher Education, Research and Innovation has affirmed in her keynote speech that the summit has provided an important platform to discuss important matters on science and technology as the world is witnessing the fourth industrial revolution as a result of research and innovations. His Highness Sayyid Shihab bin Tariq Al Saeed, Deputy Prime Minister for the Defense Affairs, received this morning His Excellency Abdullah bin Saud Al Anzi, Ambassador of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, appointed to the Sultanate. During the meeting, they reviewed the good relations between the two countries as well as exchanged points of view on a number of matters of common concern. The Ministry of Health announced 26 deaths and 2,142 new cases of COVID-19 in the Sultanate. It also registered 744 recovered cases. The total number of COVID-19 cases in the Sultanate reached 240,708. The total number of deaths reached 2,591. The total recovered cases reached 212,808. The ministry indicated that the number of inpatients is 1,282, of which 383 are in intensive care units. As many as 535,578 people have been vaccinated against COVID-19 since the start of the National Immunization Plan in December 2020 till yesterday. The number constitutes 15% of the target segment. The percentage of those who took the first dose of COVID-19 vaccination stood at 66% by 350,957, while the number of those who took both doses stands at 184,621, comprising 34%. The total number of administered vaccine doses is 720,199. The ministry administers the second dose after 10 weeks or more to those who take the first dose. It is now in the process of administering the first dose to employees of the state's administrative apparatus, public sector employees. The Ministry of Health plans to cover all target segments aged 12 and above, which stands for 70% of the population. The vaccination process will be carried out in stages depending on the arrival of supplies of COVID-19 vaccines and in line with the goals set for the National Immunization Strategy. The increased cases of COVID-19 in the hospitals is causing a lot of pressure on health cadres as the number of patients in the intensive care unit in the Royal Hospital reached 66. Meanwhile, the number of COVID-19 inpatients during the last 24 hours reached 181. On the other hand, the board is concerned, call on all the targeted categories to take the COVID-19 vaccination and adhere to the precautionary measures to protect themselves and the community from further spread of the virus. You're watching the Sultanate of Oman television, and yet to come in our news bulletin. The International Festival for Drums and Traditional Arts has kicked off in Cairo, Egypt. Once again, welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. The tender board has awarded a number of development projects during its meeting today. The assigned projects are to provide technicians to operate and maintain devices and equipments of the health units affiliated to the Ministry of Health in the Governorate of Musandam for a period of 3 months, in addition to the renew the tenancy contract of the Consumer Protection Authority building for 1 year. The meeting was chaired by His Excellency Dr. Saeed bin Mohammed Al-Sakri, Minister of Economy. The Oman telecommunication company Omantel has inaugurated an information technology and telecommunication training center in collaboration with the Chinese telecom company Huawei. The inauguration comes as an enabler for the progress of the digital transformation in the Sultanate and to enhance the capabilities and skills of the future job seekers in the field of information technology and telecommunication.
To support national talent development using future technologies, Omantel and Huawei launched the Huawei Regional ICT Training Center, which comes within the endeavors to support accomplishing Oman's Vision 2040, where building a knowledge-based economy is a key pillar.
We congratulate Huawei and Omantel for this achievement and choosing Oman for their regional training center for the 4IR and the future technologies. We think Oman is a natural and a good choice for this, and we think that this will enrich the experiences in the country and also help our talent in Oman to access future technologies from outside and hopefully export them from the country to the rest of the world.
I believe the launching of this training ICT center will be a promising place for preparing the Omani cadre for the ICT, especially that we are also moving towards huge changes in this area, and also that will help in supporting also the policies that are already there on Oman Vision 2040, as well as in other also strategic plans of education, innovation, and also in the research. So also the university, in fact, will have a lot of work and efforts to work together with the training center here.
Huawei Regional ICT Training Center, which is located at the Omantel headquarters in Muscat, includes Omantel 5G Exhibition Hall, Huawei HQ Online Exhibition Hall, and Huawei ICT Academy in Oman. The center will also collaborate with entities such as the Center for Research and Innovation and the Duqm 5G Exhibition Hall.
The center is to provide the training services for our customers, partners, and colleagues in the whole region. And besides this, as Oman Huawei, we will utilize these facilities and platform to enhance our Omani ICT talent development And also, we will use this platform to organize some regional industry summit to introduce the latest technologies. So it will bring indirect benefits for Oman economy, like tourism, like logistics and hotels or something like this.
The collaboration to establish Huawei Regional ICT Training Center is one of the key elements towards achieving national digital transformation plans. This milestone center will empower the Omani youth with the latest advanced technologies to attain sustainable development for the country.
All the best there for Huawei Company and Omantel. The Minister of Labour this morning implemented an introductory workshop entitled The Individual Performance and Institutional Proficiency System at the General Diwan of the Ministry with the presence of representatives of the state's administrative apparatus. More details in the following report.
The Individual Performance System is one of the most important projects that received the blessing of His Majesty to speed up the implementation in the government units, as it is considered one of the aspects for achieving the Oman Vision 2040. The system will contribute on the part of the community to improve the quality of service provided to citizens and enhance the community's trust in government performance. The system will also contribute from the employee's side to clarity of the employee's tasks and responsibility, as well as enabling the employee to complete the work efficiently and with rewarding the exiled ones.
It is a very important initiative which is being organized by Ministry of Labour to support and enhance the government's efforts in enhancing and supporting the efficiency of the different entities in the government by enhancing the progress and the achievements and the roles of the employees in their organizations. This event today will focus on the importance of this initiative, covering different issues such as component and objectives and different goals.
The application of the system for government units will result in accomplishment of operational plans and efficient and effective recruitment of resources, and it will be an effective tool for officials to improve work and support them in following up with the performance of employees, in addition at developing and motivating them. As for the institutional proficiency, its idea came to evaluate the performance of government units by creating a national system for governance and institutional performance, aiming to develop the quality of government services, which will contribute to a qualitative leap in the performance of government units and improve the Sultanate's classifications in some of the international indicators. The institutional excellence system will contribute to motivating government units to improve the level of service in order to raise the efficiency of the state's administrative apparatus, raise the Sultanate's competitive indicator in accordance with Oman's Vision 2040, and increase customer satisfaction with services provided. It will also contribute in strengthening the institutional and teamwork role in the performance of government units, encouraging the spirit of competitiveness and innovation, and rewarding the exiled unit in accordance with the approved standard.
That, of course, was Mohammed Al-Busaidi with that particular report. Intisar bint Khalifa Al-Busaidi, as a PhD student at Sultan Qaboos University, achieved the first place in the competition organized by the Society of Petroleum Engineers at the level of Middle East, North Africa, and South Asia. Let's hear more in this particular report.
In 2014, she obtained a bachelor's degree in applied chemistry from Sultan Qaboos University. 4 years later, she completed her master's degree in oil and natural gas engineering sciences. Her love for science and engineering is a never-ending story. Currently, she is a second-year PhD student majoring in petroleum engineering at the College of Engineering at SQU. It is indeed a spectacular journey for Intisar bint Khalifa al-Busaidi, whose research paper won first place at the level of the Middle East, North Africa, and South Asia in the competition organized by the Society of Petroleum Engineers in the PhD division.
Actually, this achievement means a lot to me, and I'm really proud to present Oman and Sultan Qaboos University as such as international events. It's focused on finding the mechanism of impact of low salinity or impact of adding polymer to low salinity. So understanding these mechanisms, it will help us to understand the chemistry of the injected water later to increase the oil recovery.
The enthusiastic Intisar found inspiration from the Petroleum and Chemical Lab at the College of Engineering at SQU, where she started initial sample preparations for her thesis.
Sultan Qaboos University provide for us the main or the laboratory that is well occupied by high accuracy equipment and material that is help us to conduct these type of experiments. And according to my supervisors, they are from excellent researchers, even from academic or industrial field. Recently, I'm preparing for the international competition, and in the future, we are trying to apply this study on Omani oil fields.
Through her research study, Intisar endeavors to develop effective means to increase oil production, minimize the amount of polymer used in this process, and reduce the total cost of oil production. Another coveted achievement rendered by talented Omani youth, not only to present the Sultanate at renowned international events, but also to yield valuable scientific contributions that boost the national economy. From Sultan Qaboos University, Salih Bukhalfan al-Rahbi, Muscat.
That is an excellent achievement to Intisar and Oman, of course. Thank you, Saleh. Iranian President Hassan Rouhani today urged the nation to go to the polls in Friday's presidential elections, even though they might be deeply dissatisfied with the country's current situation. Rouhani had earlier criticized the State Election Committee for widely barring from or pro-reform candidates from running in the vote, but said today that abstention from voting does not resolve any of the country's problems. Iran's presidential contest headed towards a showdown between the country's hardline judiciary chief and moderate former central bank chief, as two candidates dropped out on the last day of campaigning to clear a path for the challengers. Mohsen Mehralazadeh, the only reformist candidate in the vote, as well as hardline contender Ali Riza Zakani, withdrew from the race, leaving just 5 candidates in the field. The departure of 64-year-old Mehralazadeh, who served as a governor in 2 Iranian provinces, aims to boost the chances of top banker Abdul Nasser Himati, who has been running as a moderate and as a stand-in for President Hassan Rouhani. Russian President Vladimir Putin thanked U.S. President Joe Biden for the initiative of the summit today. Opening the summit, Putin said he hoped for a productive meeting. Putin said Biden had a long trip and lots of work. Nevertheless, they have lots of questions stoked in Russia-U.S. relationship that require discussions on high level. He said he hoped their meeting will be productive. Putin and Biden were meeting today at the lakeside Swiss mansion for their highly anticipated summit. The two leaders shook hands while appearing briefly before cameras with Swiss President Guy Parmelin, who welcomed them to Switzerland and then entered the mansion for what is expected to be 4 or 5 hours of talks. Biden said they would try to determine the areas of cooperation and mutual interest. Now, all the way to Cairo. Cairo is hosting the 8th edition of the annual International Festival for Drums and Traditional Arts. The festivities kicked off at the Cairo Citadel on Saturday and will run until Friday. This year's edition features 30 folkloric troops from different countries, including Indonesia, Colombia, Bangladesh, Palestine, South Sudan, as well as groups coming from all over Egypt. The organizers said bringing international performance was one of this year's challenges due to travel restrictions amid fears of the coronavirus. A number of historical and cultural places were chosen as the backdrop for the shows, including the Cairo Citadel, Mo's Streets, and the Cairo Opera House. The festival originally started in 2009 with the aim of sending a message of peace through spiritual music. It focused on drums because they were originally used during wars, so the founder said they wanted to take an instrument that was originally used for warlike purposes to invoke a combination of art and peace. You're watching the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq sends a cabal of greetings to His Excellency the President of Iceland on his country's National Day. Signed by His Majesty the Sultan, Her Excellency the Minister of Higher Education, Research and Innovation participate in the second Islamic Summit for the Science and Technology. The Ministry of Health reports 26 deaths and 2,142 new cases of COVID-19, and the immunization campaign continues in the governorates of the Sultanate. And with the aim to support and develop Omani talents, a regional training center for information technology and communication is inaugurated. And with that, we come to an end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, we would like to thank you for realizing the importance of preventive measures to stay safe and healthy, and by doing so, you revitalize Oman's economy. Good night.